Hey, Spotswood family. My name is Elizabeth, and I serve on the Ministry Success team here at Lifeway. Dr. Cook asked if I would make a training video to help as you prepare to begin teaching the Gospel Project. So today we're going to take a look at the leader guide, the personal study guide, and the commentary, as well as some additional resources that are available for you. Before we jump in, I just want to talk really quickly about three distinctions that really set the Gospel Project apart from other curriculum options. So, first off, it is chronological. The Gospel Project unfolds the story of Scripture from Genesis to Revelation over the course of 3 years of study. There are 12 total volumes, each covering approximately 13 weeks. The Gospel Project is Christ centered. Jesus is the heart of the gospel, and so he is the center of this curriculum. Whether this week's lesson is in the Old or the New Testament, each week will point directly to Jesus. And finally, the Gospel Project is going to emphasize key concepts. So you and your group will gain a deeper understanding of both doctrine and theology, as well as real-world applications you can send your class members away with each week. So let's dive into how your leader guide is going to look for you each week. The opening pages that you see here, every session will include context, placing the scripture we're going to be studying that week into the broader narrative of the Bible. The key concept section that you see here are the points your class should walk away with after your time together. Additional material is available throughout the leader guide as both text inserts and QR codes. The first QR code you see each week will link to handouts for the week's scripture passages. The scripture passage is printed in both the leader guide and the personal study guide in the CSB translation. This QR code will take you to KJV and ESV translations if your ministry or just an individual class or group would prefer to use a different translation. The daily readings that you see here at the bottom right, those are also printed in the personal study guide. Important to note, even though we are going to spend 3 years going Genesis to Revelation with the Gospel Project, we are not going to cover every single verse in the Bible. However, if your classes, your group members will follow this daily reading plan, they will read through the Bible chronologically over that 3 year period. Again, it is chronological, so you can see here the daily readings for this first week, the creation story, are going to take us through Genesis 1 and 2, but also two of the creation Psalms. The Gospel Project team wanted to stress that leaders are still learners, so the leader guide does contain a personal preparation section to encourage every group leader to spend time reading and reflecting on the scripture. Singular to the leader guide will be the leader's notes. You can see an example highlighted here on the left. This is additional information the group leader may want to include in their presentation. To the right of the slide, you can see the layout of the actual class time. Each step is clearly labeled for a seamless teaching presentation. There are suggested scripts if you would like to use those, and clearly labeled transitions from one section to the next. The Gospel Project features a group experience exercise each week, kind of in the middle of the lesson. So, this is an activity-based learning time where group members will draw on their own personal preparation from the week, as well as their real-life experience to connect with and challenge each other. You can see here an example of what the group experience will look like from the perspective of the leader guide on the left and the personal study guide on the right. Since you guys are using this digitally, I have talked to a lot of ministries who have adapted this, even though they don't necessarily have printed books in front of them. I've seen people use whiteboards, smart boards, poster boards, kind of whatever they need to do. The idea behind the group experience is that everybody has different learning styles. So some members of your class are going to learn the best just by hearing you teach. Some of them are going to need to read to really absorb it, and some of them are going to need hands-on activity to really get that information. So that's what the group experience is here for. This is what the end of your teaching time is going to look like each week. Debrief is going to be those key concept questions we saw at the beginning of the session. This is a great tool to frame your teaching time around, so when you get to this moment, your class is able to answer these questions with confidence. At the bottom of the left page and continuing over to the right, you will see the head, heart, and hands. This is the life application section of this lesson. So this framework is going to help group members recognize and experience transformation through the teachings of scripture that we've had for the week. Your group can select one, two, or all of these to complete together. There is a place in the leader guide for you to check in with them at the beginning of the next lesson to see how that went. At the bottom right, you'll see next steps. These are further application ideas. So we do encourage our group leaders to challenge your class members to respond in at least one of these three ways, including praying scripture and seeking out evangelism opportunities. These are great midweek follow-up opportunities for you to reach out to your class members if you don't have time to work these in during the group. So next up, we're going to take a look at the personal study guide for your class members. The Gospel Project encourages people to dig into scripture themselves prior to meeting with a group so they can not only participate but actively contribute to discussions. So they also have a shorter personal preparation section. This can be completed in 1, 2, or 4 days, depending on each individual learning style and schedule. Remember, there is still that daily reading plan, which is printed in the personal study guide to encourage your class members to be in scripture daily. You can see here the scripture printed in the personal study guide in the CSB translation. The personal study guide and the leader guide also include these green boxes you see to the right. They're green in volume 1. They change color throughout the year. These are going to be our Christ, gospel, and theology connections. These are going to be printed directly in the text of both the leader guide and the personal study guide, so feel free to bring these up in your group discussion. So this is what the group experience and the Head, Heart, and Hands life application section will look like for your class members. They also have the praying scripture inset that they can reference throughout the week. The praying scripture is going to be a little notation at the end of each week where your group can learn to pray through a psalm together. So let's talk about a couple of additional resources the Gospel Project has available for you as a leader. This is going to be the commentary and then leader pack items. So here are a few images from the commentary. You can see that it includes the connection insets as well as study questions. So the commentary expands on the content for the core passage in the leader guide with an analysis of the text from a different writer's perspective. So in this way, it functions as a supplement to the leader guide. You do have some commentary available in the regular leader guide, but this add-on features word studies and expanded exegesis of our passage of scripture for the week. You can use the commentary to supplement your own study and personal preparation, and also gain additional insights for your group discussion if you would like to use it. Each week, you can see this commentary supplement for the week's lesson right on your dashboard in Ministry Grid. The Leader Pack contains posters, maps, visual aids, and handouts for the class. These will be called for directly in the Leader Guide, so if you want to use them, you know exactly when to draw attention to them. The pack items are numbered, and you can also see a thumbnail photo of the item you need in the margins of the Leader Guide. Since you have the digital version of the Leader Pack, you might choose to print these items, download and email them to your class members, or just show them digitally in class. In addition to those two leader resources we just talked about, the Gospel Project team has ministry resources that can actually benefit your entire church. So these are items you can share directly with your class members, or you can simply use them in your own preparation. These are all located on the Gospel Project's website. Dr. Cook should have a link to this website so you can bug him for it. But after that, you might just want to bookmark it so it's easily accessible as you work on your lesson each week. So I do want to point out all of these, like I mentioned, are available on the Gospel Project's website. The first one that you see on the right, that weekly leader training, that is available on the website. It's available in Ministry Grid on your dashboard. It's also available on every single podcasting platform. So if you have a preferred podcasting platform, you can always subscribe to it there. This is the head of our Gospel Project for Adults curriculum team talking through our Christ connection, our theology connection, our key points for the week, every single week. It's a great resource. On the Gospel Project's website itself, we also have slide templates for PowerPoint, memory verse cards you can send out or use as social posts. There are articles, there are sample sermons. There is a ton of additional stuff for you on the website. Just as a reminder, you won't need to use all of these different resources. You can be completely ready to teach just with the leader guide and the personal study guide. But if you do want additional material, we wanted you to know that they are available for you. So if you ever need any resources and can't find them, please don't hesitate to reach out for me. I'll do my best to connect you guys with those. And before we go, I just wanted to show you what this will look like in real life, not on a PowerPoint presentation. So we are going to hop over to Ministry Grid for a quick minute. So when you log into your Ministry Grid account, you should see here the Gospel Project for Adults. Dr. Cook has already reset your schedule, so you'll be starting on August 9th, but when August 9th gets here, that lesson will be marked with a banner just like this one above it, where it says this week's session. You can use these scroller bars to go back 4 weeks or ahead up to 8 weeks. Click on this week's session and everything that you need is going to be here for you. Here's that podcast, weekly leader training podcast that we talked about. Here's a copy of your leader guide. We actually have a downloadable Word document version as well. If you are somebody that wants to make a lot of edits to your leader guide, or for instance, type your own notes into your leader guide, this downloadable Word document is going to be much easier to edit than the PDF. So we have two different options for you here. Here's the personal study guide for your class members. Here is your commentary. That will be the commentary just for this week, so you can pull that up and look through that. If you would like to use the pack items, we have those here for you as well, along with some memory verse cards, PowerPoint images, things like that. Again, all you really need to teach is the leader guide, and then your class will need this personal study guide, but we have a lot of additional resources here for you if you want them. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, Dr. Cook has all of my contact information. Please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will talk to you guys soon.